Evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 16 for 2022. Happens to be April the 26th of 2022. Welcome to the Boeville in Newtown, and I'm Ray, your host. And as I said, it's Tuesday, and I'm just now getting around to making a video. I had sidetracked Sunday this week. I also had some other things going on. But the big thing is I need to get this thing moving because our best friend's daughter is getting married this weekend, so I'm going to be a little bit busy with that. So, any rate, what I had planned on doing, which I did not get to, pardon me a second, because like I said, this is take two. The first take, I forgot to turn the mic on again. Lovely stuff. Anyway, as you saw in the last episode, I talked about, or actually may have been the episode before, I talked about the Cutty Sark, which was a model that my grandfather, my mom's dad, had put together years ago. And unfortunately, it's in really rough shape. And I got to thinking, which is probably not a good thing, but I got to thinking, I was like, well, wait a minute. If I'm going to try and repair this thing, I'm going to need some instructions. Well, I don't have the original box, but what I did find on the internet was a set of instructions for the Cutty Sark. Now, what I found interesting as I was going through this, number one, this is an old Revell model. This was done back, I believe this here was copyrighted in 1974. The instructions, at least. But what was fascinating to me is when I was looking for this, I actually found out that it's actually a 1/96th scale model, and not a 1/100th. Either way, it's not 1/87th, which would be HO scale. Not a huge problem. Actually, being at 1/96 puts it a little bit closer to the HO scale than what 1/100th would be. So I'm still going to go ahead with my plan eventually, going ahead and building this this dry dock scene and putting the Cutty Sark into it. But one of the thing, or something that I wanted to get into this week that I'm obviously not going to be able to get into, namely because I'm not going to have the time to fool with it. I'm going to swing the camera here for a second, and unfortunately I'm not going to be able to see what's going on because the camera lens is in the other direction, or the viewfinder is in the other direction. As you can see, I've got a box of stuff sitting here. This is all stuff that needs to be repaired, that belongs on the layout. Some of this is going to be minor repairs, sort of like this guy here. Only thing that's missing is the weather vane that goes up on top of the cupola. And if you notice, this is a Revell as well, a Revell model, and you see that little circle end? My dad actually had a friend of his years ago make us decals, or make that decal for that, and we called it the Circle End Ranch, because that farm area was called Newton's Farm. Thus the reason why we've got an N on the building. Speaking of quick, easy repairs, the firehouse, the base is coming loose and the one door is out. So those will be fairly easy repairs. I don't want to touch Union Station just yet because I want to get to that. The radar tower, which was sitting over at the outside of Boeville, obviously the radar itself has been off. That's not the first time that's broke. And the tower needs to be remounted to the base. That's going to be a little bit trickier, but it shouldn't be too bad. I've got a signal bridge here that I think I had, for whatever reason, have been glued together a while back, and I have no idea why. I have a sneaky suspicion that it may have gotten knocked off the layout at one point or what have you, and one side was glued because it broke. So I'm actually thinking about trying to get this one apart because I've got another bridge that's the same thing, and just swapping out the pieces and getting rid of this one that's got an issue. But I'll see what happens with that. I'll keep you updated as to what goes on there. Another old Revell kit. I hope all the parts are here. Let's see, there's one wall, two walls, three walls. Okay, four walls. All right, cool. This was the yard tower, or the, I guess, I always thought it was a yard tower, and I guess for actuality, it's not a yard tower. It's actually an interlocking tower. This was one of my dad's original pieces, and unfortunately, it's lost a whole second floor. So I'm going to be putting it back together at some point, and getting that ready to go on the layout someplace. And of course, the last one is going to be, and of course there's downspouts too for that have to get re-glued. We've talked about the brass water tower a couple different times. I've actually got the parts to fix that. I do have to figure out what I did with my Gorilla Glue though, because I don't have anything that's really going to work on that soft metal that is. And of course, the last thing that's sitting over here, and we all know that I've been talking about this off and on because I actually tore it apart at one point, thinking I was going to modify it, and then I decided not to. But regardless, it needs to be put back together. Now, one problem with this, well, actually, there's multiple problems with this dude. The first thing is I obviously know more now than what I did, I don't know, probably 20 years ago or so when I actually got this and put it together. One of the biggest issues is the fact that obviously it's still in the original color that it came in. And I know you probably can't see it, but I can, and that's the fact that Union Station is actually on the front of this building. It was a decal, and the decal just does not work on here because the background is too dark. I believe somewhere in my mix of stuff, when I was going through and finding all the spare parts, I believe I've got another Union Station decal that I can put on here. Because I want to, while I've got this thing semi-apart, two things that I want to do with it. One, I want to paint the inside of the building so that I can alleviate light bleed. That's first problem. The second thing I'd like to do is I actually would like to change the exterior color of this from this gray over to, I guess for lack of a better term, some sort of a marble color. I don't know how easy that's going to be to do, But that is what that's what I want to try to do, without, hopefully, I'm hoping I can get in here and do that without messing up the windows. I may have to tape them off because of the fact that obviously this stuff is all glued. And, well, you know what? It's glued, but I wonder if I can carefully push, because I just put my finger on one of these and it just popped in one corner. I was just sitting there wondering if I could if I can get those back out, but I don't want to risk it. So that's what my plan is. So before I put this thing completely back together, I'm going to show you a couple of things, I hope, in the future, with taking care of the outside of this, changing it from this wonderful gray that it is, and actually taking it over to a marble color. That's one thing. Now, one of the things that I did do years ago, because obviously it, you know, you don't want everything to be the same color. I did at least paint the columns that go on the front of the building, and those were done in a flat white, along with the upper and lower parts that actually hold them in place. So like I said, I think that's what we're going to do in the future, and probably the next episode, because I don't think I'm going to get to it this week. But yeah, we're going to go ahead, we'll paint the interior a dark black, we're going to paint that black. And then the exterior, I'm actually going to go ahead and paint a marble color. And kind of like I did with we did with the courthouse, these details that are over top the windows. And I'm not even sure if they're going to show up right. Here we go. The details over top the windows, we'll go ahead and we'll get those a different color as well. I don't know what that's going to be yet. I may end up looking online to see what the actual Union Station looks like downtown. But other than that, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and try and get a video of a couple trains running, and then we'll be back in a bit. Well, folks, that's going to go ahead and do it for vlog 16 for 2022. Don't forget, John, number 2 from the Schuylkill River Valley, has got Sidetrack Sunday number 1 for the month of May. Really? This Sunday, May 1st? Doesn't seem possible. That's all I've got for the moment. You all know the deal. Wait for the high ball. Green tracks ahead. Be safe. God bless. We will see ya.